no. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Bronco Nation? Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you here at Bronco Nation News Live at BroncoNationNews.com. This is a Taco Bell Tuesday here at BNN, so we appreciate Taco Bell, their support of Bronco Nation News. Get out to a local Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. The Rains boys have all this great, delicious, intricate food at Taco Bell, and my kids are just happy with the basic cheesy roll-ups and a slushie there. So for like $5, they get like 3 cheesy roll-ups and a slushie, and they're good to go. So very great options, and don't forget they're hiring as well. So make sure you hit up Taco Bell. And of course, our title sponsor is RowPaint.com. All those painting needs that you may have, whether it's the interior, exterior painting, those concrete coatings. We've had that done twice at the Rains house. Highly, highly recommend the concrete coatings from RowPaint.com. So if you want to have me connect you directly with our friends at RowPaint.com, I will do that for you. So appreciate RowPaint.com and Andy Rowe, our title sponsor here at BNN. Joining us today. So are you technically the unemployed Jay Tust today, or when are you on state payroll here? I don't know.
No, I'm the unemployed Jay Tust for another few days.
I was thinking about that, and I was like, yeah, he's you had said you were doing some family time, and we appreciate you jumping on. We joke about it. I think Monday, right, is your first official day with Boise State, and we did see so we missed you the other night. I know you had some stuff going on, but you're maybe already out of town. But actually, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that yet. We were hanging out with Jordan K. I'll just say that the other day, and Johnny was there, and Dale Holste was at this event we were at just randomly, and he's friends with family friends, close, essentially family with Jordan's girlfriend, and it was a barbecue, and we were hanging out. Me and Johnny were talking to Dale Holste, and he said, "Oh, wait till you see this tweet we got ready for Jay." And sure enough, it was they've now got your gear and they've got your slides. So that was the most important thing, not the polo shirts. It was the fact that they got your slides and hopefully flip-flops to follow there for you.
Yeah, I'm stoked about it. I appreciate Dale. He's awesome, as you know. So he always lives up to the hype as well. So I'm excited. I got a little preview yesterday, and excited to get over there on Monday and kick this thing off. For now, though, yeah, just a little time at home. We sandwiched a little vacation in between jobs, or this brief unemployment period, if you will. And really, it's also the last time I can, probably get my wife out of town, because she's pretty pregnant right now. And so we're not too far off from that due date. And yeah, just kind of had to hit it while we could.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yeah, a little family time.
Looked like I saw like a hot air balloon over a lake or something. You were at quite the
My
spot. You were.
my brother-in-law and sister, they basically live in an amusement park, it seems like. They live on Lake Tapps. It's like they have the coolest house, and yeah, there's hot air balloons that fly over at night, and hang gliders, and all sorts of fun stuff.
I did see some comments on Twitter though, wondering if they've already got the custom sleeves made that quickly for the shirts.
I don't know. I need to get back in the gym a little bit, apparently, here, BJ, because I'm not doing myself justice at the moment. So hopefully before the season starts, I can actually get back to that. I finally feel like I can. A year ago at this time, I had a big brace on my arm because I was, just had gotten out of arm surgery, and I've kind of been a little bit of a wuss about lifting weights again, but we're getting there.
Well, I think the cameras they're going to be giving you aren't going to be quite as heavy as those KTVB ones either. So
that's also true.
Well, looking forward to having you officially start next week, and appreciate you even on a off week, vacation week, whatever you want to. When most people have a week where they're unemployed, it's not probably quite as exciting as it is for you, knowing what's ahead here. So
yeah,
you can enjoy it while you can, but we still appreciate you finding time to pop on here today. And we're going to tackle kind of two topics in one today, Jay. We catch back up. We had Mike Prater on vacation yesterday. We had Brad Bedell come on, and we mostly talked about the realignment stuff. I'll let you throw one thought in there if you want before we dive into today's topics, but just the Texas State being the quote heavy favorite. And I'm just kind of curious your thoughts on the realignment and where the Pac-12 sits at this point.
My thoughts is we're gonna have to find a way to get you to warm up to Texas State.
And I don't even think you watched yesterday's show, and you would have.
No, I honestly didn't, but surprisingly, man, I've actually. So I don't go a little further into this. This might be the last vacation in my life I take where I don't have a laptop. I don't have my one that I'm getting yet from Boise State, and I had to turn my one in I had to turn the one in that I had at KTVB. I had to turn it in. And so it's kind of forced me to almost disconnect a little bit. It's kind of a weird feeling. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I'm flying blind at times, and it's only been a couple of days here. But either way, I got on social media last night, and I can't remember the analogy that somebody threw out there, but it had something not, this would have applied that you hate this Texas State edition as much as I hate vegetables or something like that. But I can't remember the analogy that was used on social media. It wasn't that one, but something about a little bit of your disdain for this being the ad. And I just kind of laughed. So I knew I had to rib you about it this morning.
I know very little about Texas State. I'm not going to lie. I just, for me, I wanted some sex appeal. I wanted some brand appeal. I wanted kind of an exciting final team to kind of finish this thing off. When you're talking about Memphis or Tulane or South Florida or UNLV or, Cal, Stanford, whoever, I'm just saying, like, all these, like, even the crazy possibilities. And then you find out the eighth team is Texas State. Like, we were debating yesterday, would you rather have Texas State or Nevada? Like, I mean, who do you want coming into Albertson? Who excites you more about coming into Albertson Stadium next year, Nevada or Texas State? Like, I get it. Texas State is a gamble. 5 years from now, it may be great. I know they've got Kinney, and we're going to talk about the group of 5 coaches here in a minute. But and I know they've done a couple things, a couple back-to-back 8-win seasons or whatever. But for me, and it's nothing personal against Texas State, North Texas, any of these Texas schools. I do think getting into Texas is a good thing. I think that part of it is good. I just personally wanted you're gonna make this big, huge move to the Pac-12. You're gonna pull these teams over and add Washington State and Oregon State, and you get Gonzaga for basketball, and there's all this excitement, and then you find out Texas State from the Sun Belt is going to be the 8th team here. It just was a little underwhelming for me from a big picture, sex appeal type thing. But like I said, they'll probably prove to be a fine addition down the road. I was just hoping for something a little more headline worthy for that final.
Yeah, I just think that the whole process is more complicated than we want it to be. Yeah, I mean, like Memphis is the team you would want, right? But you know, you look at what the exit fee to leave the Sun Belt is versus the American Athletic Conference for Memphis, and like Memphis has to give something like 27 months notice. I mean, I mean, over 2 years of notice before that were to happen, and their exit fee is pretty stiff. Then you look at Texas State, and I was kind of laughing because they have a significant deadline coming up on July 1st, because then their exit fee jumps from 5 million to 10 million. I mean, in comparison, the Mountain West exit fee jumps from 17 million to 34 million, or whatever it is. It doubles. And even though it doubles for Texas State, I mean, it's still almost half of what Boise State would have to pay, despite giving more than 12 months notice. So I think it's just, it's tough. To answer your question, I think in the short term, Nevada probably gets more hype just because there is some history there. There is a rivalry there. It seems like Boise State's dominated that thing ever since Colin Kaepernick left. But I will remind you, it was a few years ago that the Wolfpack rolled into Boise and actually upset Boise State. Now, that seemed like a much different time in the Boise State football program. But I think that you can't ask, what have you done for me lately, versus even what have you done for me in the past. Not versus, but along with what you've done to me for the past. But you do have to actually try to project this thing out and take a little bit of a risk on what it looks like 5 years from now. And if you were to compare it to like a Nevada, it seems like Texas State is I want to be careful here because, Nevada, I still have a lot of respect for the program and what they do. So I don't want that to be misconstrued. But I just think that you hear about the money and stuff pouring into Texas State. It just feels like 5 years from now, they have the potential to be in a better spot than Nevada, although Nevada's history is certainly stronger at this point in time.
Yeah. No, I'll buy that. And I got no choice. To, like you said, eventually come around on it. But as somebody says here, where was it at in the chat? They're okay with it as long as it still includes Memphis as a football-only member, or something
which apparently is still on the table. And
which I said yesterday, like if Texas State's the full member, but you get basketball and football out of Memphis, I would take that. I would take that. I just If all they do right now is Texas State and that is it, I think for all this excitement, it just was a little underwhelming for me. But we'll see, and hopefully in 5 years they prove us wrong. And but right now, that's kind of where I'm at. I wanted something a little sexier. Whenever you're talking Memphis and all these big first things that were getting thrown out there, and then you end up with Texas State, it's like, okay, but I know they're up and coming. I know they'll be fine in a few years, but I still want to find a way. Memphis or UNLV would still be in a perfect scenario who I would like to see. And I
want to learn more about the.
I told Brad Bedell yesterday. I just wondered too if this leak has been so quiet the last 6 months, and for this to leak out now, I wonder if this is to put pressure on Memphis or UNLV or one of these other teams to take whatever deals out there, or if they kind of did a soft launch of this just to kind of see what the public reaction is, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I just find it a little interesting after it being so quiet, this gets leaked out at this point.
Yeah, I think you also read those articles by people like Pete Thamel, and I think that as you know, BJ, sometimes we speak on background and things we know and might not necessarily form them as facts. And I definitely could be 1,000% wrong here, but he also mentioned something about Memphis maybe in 27, 28 as a candidate to make that jump. And so I don't know, when I see soft timelines or something like that just suggested, I feel like there might be a little bit more there. And again, I really could be 1,000% wrong on that. That was just a little nugget that kind of stuck out to me, because now all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, what if Memphis is saying, let's see how this plays out? Are you guys going to get Power 5 status back and things like that? And then all of a sudden that would, stuff like that could almost force them to make the jump, at least in football, right? So plus, man, if I'm Memphis, I don't know, I'm looking at this thing and I'm thinking football in the pack, basketball and your other sports in the Big East, that almost seems like a win. And I know that it depends. They would really have to get into revenue distribution and how they're going to slice the pie. But if there's a situation where Memphis does almost get a full share or something like that in the pack, and then they send their other sports to the Big East and they're getting that cut as well, then all of a sudden they are ahead of what the AAC could offer them. It just gets a little more complicated for Memphis.
Well, if you're going to bring Memphis for football, I'd like to try to find a way to bring them for basketball also.
I agree. I mean, and you're looking again. I don't see how you can't look at a basketball league with Gonzaga, Memphis, San Diego State. We obviously know Boise State's success. Colorado State went to the NCAA tournament this last year. Utah State's had some great teams. Obviously, they were in the NCAA tournament this last year. So, I think you look at that, man, and that is the beginning of a really, really awesome basketball league that I think would have selling power for TV rights as well.
Well, we'll see. We're back in that crazy season, Jay. We're check Twitter every 5 minutes to see what's happening because it could be any time now, any day that something could break on this. So we'll keep it up to date and we'll see what happens here with the Pac-12. But I do agree that this July 1st kind of soft deadline, I think that's real though for some of these teams with the exit fees and things like that. And I know the 5 to 10 million, as you said, is not a huge difference for Texas State compared to some of these teams, but that 5 million is still 5 million. So I would suspect something to happen here in the next couple of weeks. All right. Ironically enough, Boise State and Texas State have two of the guys on our list here for the best group of 5 coaches. Is Spencer Danielson already the top group of 5 coach? We're going to discuss that in just a second here, but do want to thank rowpaint.com, our title sponsor. Andy Rowe does a tremendous job there with the concrete coatings, interior, exterior paintings. If you need anything to do with painting, all your painting needs, make sure you hit up Andy and our title sponsor at rowpaint.com, and they're the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. Hit them up, our title sponsor at rowpaint.com. Mention Taco Bell. They're hiring, so if you're looking for a job, just hit up TacoBellWorks.com, get more information on the storied history of the SON Management Group and the Nicolason family and how they've developed their business, and now they own several Taco Bells in the Treasure Valley and do so many great things for the community. So if you want to support a local family that's kind of built it from the ground up, that's the Nicolason family and the Treasure Valley Taco Bell locations. Get more information, TacoBellWorks.com, but get the family out to Taco Bell today. And as I said, the Raines family, good old-fashioned cheesy roll-ups and a slushie, and they're good to go. Hey, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile eBranch online banking right on your smartphone. I was moving some money around this morning. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. You may think you like your banking experience. I promise you don't know what you're missing. Make the switch today. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. We got a kid's birthday party this weekend on Naismith's baseball teams. We're going to be heading out to Roaring Springs, and we'll be saving our $8 per ticket by buying the 2 Coca-Cola products at Jackson's and Extra Mile. That's right. You can save $8 and you can do it on up to 4 tickets. That's savings of $32 from Jackson's and Extra Mile when you buy 2 Coca-Cola products. So do that today, and we'll see you out at Roaring Springs. And don't forget Jackson's. They've got that 99-cent coffee anytime, day or night, using your Let's Go rewards app. Hey, Snake River Pool and Spa, patio and game locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team, whether it's a sauna, whether it's a spa, maybe a pool table for the game room. They got you covered. View all their awesome options and accessories online at thespateam.com or visit one of those 4 locations today. Hey, the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com, now the official in-venue provider of Boise State merchandise. You'll see them set up in the Hall of Fame here shortly in Albertson Stadium during football season, Extra Mile Arena, all the various venues. The Blue and Orange Store online at theblueandorangestore.com, and just going to the Boise Town Square Mall there next to Pro Image. They've got that clearance rack there in the front of the store. Best value in town, the Blue and Orange Store online at theblueandorangestore.com. And we were talking last week, Jay, it would be pretty cool. We got to make this happen. Maybe now that you're with Boise State and you obviously Travis, we got to put the pressure on and make this happen. But the inside the Hall of Fame, you're going to have your shirts that say I visited the Blue or whatever. We have to have those shirts now. You can start selling all your gear, but we need to have the NFL wall. You need to be able to go in there and buy an Ashton Genty jersey or a Khalil Shakir jersey or an Ezra Cleveland jersey. They've got the in the facility, the wall with all the NFL, teams, guys that played for and all that, but we need to get I know they're still working out some of the details on that, legally and whatever else, just to be able, they can't walk in there and sell whatever they want. But if we can get a NFL jerseys of Boise State players for sale in the Hall of Fame from the Blue and Orange store, I think that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Connect the past to the present. Yeah, that sounds awesome. And again, the thing I'm a bigger fan of is being able to print basically custom jerseys on site the day of the game, because if somebody goes out and scores 3 touchdowns, you can run down there and get his jersey that quick. I think that's the best idea I've heard.
Yeah, you literally say, "Oh, I like that. Breezy Dubar. I'm going to go back and get number 1 and get his name put on it, or whoever you want. At the time. You just go back and get it right away."
Yep, and you don't have to wait. I mean, I know that they've been always so great at getting stuff in a timely manner, BJ, but I think it's awesome that, you don't have to wait for some bulk order to come in week 5. Like, you can go get it during the home opener against Eastern Washington. Like that. I think that's awesome. Love it.
All right. So thanks to Travis Hawks in the Blue and Orange store. And yeah, that's going to be going up there in the Hall of Fame. Looking forward to that here in the short time. All right. Today's question, as we kind of get you set for football season here, our countdown to camp series, we're going to tackle 2 questions here in the next 20 minutes. And this isn't maybe necessarily, Jay, tied to like the team on the field this year, but we have mixed in a couple kind of bigger picture questions here throughout the series, just kind of getting folks ready for football season. And I thought this one from Nathan Carroll, and you can read the story right now at BroncoNationNews.com, is an interesting one. Is Spencer Danielson already the top group of 5 coach? And you look at what he's done, taking the team to the playoff, obviously, and everything that he's done to this point. There's some other guys in there as well. We'll talk about some of the candidates, but just big picture. And now, I guess we got for 5-6 more days till you're officially on the same payrolls as Spencer Danielson. But what are your thoughts on Spencer Danielson and where he ranks in the group of 5 coaching right now?
I mean, when you look at what he achieved last year, it's kind of difficult not to give him that title already, BJ. I mean, in his time as a head coach, he's won 2 Mountain West Conference championships. He's been to the college football playoff. He's produced a Heisman Trophy worthy player that stayed in Boise because of him. His overall coaching record at this point in time is 15-3. He just went 12-2. One of his losses, or excuse me, I guess you say both of his losses were to 2 top 10 teams in America, both away from Albertson Stadium. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like when you look at everything that's going on in college athletics and how quickly Boise State's been competitive under Danielson, and heck, I'd even almost argue the season prior was even more impressive, because I've never seen the program so low, if I'm being honest. An in-season firing. I mean, how are they going to right the ship? And then they win 3 out of their final 4 games, including a conference title at UNLV by a very comfortable margin. I think that Spencer's probably gone out and earned that title. I thought Barry Odom, would have been in the mix probably, even though Spencer has had success against UNLV in that span. But I really respected what Barry Odom did at UNLV. But as we know, he's no longer at UNLV. He made the jump back up to the Power 5 ring. So I think he is.
Okay. So first of all, I think that what Nathan says here, his resume is unmatched at the group of 5 level, 15-3. One of those losses coming in a bowl game without his starting or backup quarterbacks against UCLA. 2 conference championships in less than 2 years, as he said. Heisman runner-up, CFP appearance. No other group of 5 head coach has made the CFP at a group of 5 school. So right there, you could just say, yep, done deal. He's got it. He said the resume alone builds a solid case, but some would argue he hasn't quite proven it yet. 1 year with a transformational running back. How does he do it without Ashton Genty? And he said, likewise, others will point out that Boise State is a well-resourced program, has good history as any group of 5 program. Winning at Boise State is easier than, say, North Texas or Troy. When considering these factors, he said there's other candidates to look at as well. And it's funny because one of the candidates he throws out there is the guy that replaced Barry Odom, Dan Mullen. And Dan Mullen obviously is just starting his time here as a group of 5 head coach, and he's never been a group of 5 head coach. Nobody knows how that will translate. He hasn't coached at all, I believe, in like 4 years. But you think of what Dan Mullen has done in the SEC at Florida, at Mississippi State. He's a candidate. I know the guy right now that Brad Bedell said yesterday he loves Spencer. He thinks he'll be there in a year or two. But Brad Bedell said, I just can't right now in 1 year say Spencer Danielson is the top group of 5 coach yet. He gave it to Jeremy Chadwell at Coastal Carolina and then Liberty. And he is now at Liberty. He took them to a Fiesta Bowl in his first season in 2023. You could also throw in UTSA's Jeff Traylor, 5 consecutive bowl games with the Roadrunners, despite the program moving up last year from Conference USA to the American. I know that Brad Bedell also brought up Troy Calhoun at Air Force, Jeff Munkin at Army. And then John Sumrall, you can certainly throw in there as well, as he says, Nathan Carroll says he's the most compelling argument midst of the meteoric rise in the coaching ranks, was the head coach, named the head coach at Troy in 2022. They had gone 15-19 the 3 previous seasons. He goes 12-2 in his first year, wins the Sun Belt, gets him into the top 25 for the first time ever, then follows that up in 2023 by going 11-2, winning the Sun Belt title again, 23-4, 2 seasons, gets hired by Tulane, and then last year goes 9-5, makes the AAC championship game in his first season there at Tulane. He mentions doesn't have the CFP quarterfinal appearance to his name like Danielson, but 32-9 at places harder to win than Boise State, and has Tulane positioned to battle with Boise State for the CFP auto bid this fall. So obviously a lot of other candidates there. I don't think you're like wrong if anybody says like you, Spencer Danielson, but certainly you do factor in the, some of the other factors that Nathan brought in there. And I think Chadwell, and I do think Sumrall, kind of a, not getting a lot of love nationally. And I know there was another school, even after his first year at Tulane, I think he was getting some offers already to go somewhere else last year. So there are some other solid group of 5 coaches out there as well.
Yeah. No, I agree. Those are all great. And you do bring up a lot of them. And, I think even the thing that's surprising for me out of like Coach Calhoun, who, man, where he's done it, how he's done it for as long as he's done it, he deserves to be on this list in some capacity. But I also think it's kind of wild, like as good as Air Force has been at times and as much trouble as they've given Boise State at times, the Falcons have never won a conference title under Calhoun at Air Force. That's wild to me.
Title game, but never won.
Yeah, I mean they've been there. They've made it to the title game a couple of times, but they've never actually won it. And so I think that in this case, probably in an odd way, Boise State's history almost works against them, just because you expect that type of success, right? But man, I don't know. I think that he's got to run it back this year. I completely agree. He's got to prove that he can do it without Ashton Genty, but I think he also knows that. I think that they're finding ways to build this team where they can have success without him. But yeah, maybe this is going to be a very telling season. I think you're right on that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think even the homers certainly will say this, but even the like just average standard person like me, like you'd be surprised if this team goes 8-4. Like
I would be surprised.
Danielson has to prove it, but I think we all expect that he will this year.
Yeah. And even like a Dan Mullen, like, yeah, the dude has coached in the SEC. He's had great success. I mean, I get it. But if you
more
what's that?
Head coach, not saying he's better, but he did have Mississippi State at #1 team in the country at one point.
Yeah, no. So I mean, he can coach, but we're going to bring up resources. UNLV's paying Dan Mullen. I mean, it's not far off the total sum that Spencer Danielson and almost his entire coaching staff makes. I mean, it's not that far off of that total. So, I mean, if we're going to talk about resources here, UNLV they gave Dan Mullen a huge lump sum of money to go there and coach, and he'll make 75% more than Spencer Danielson will make this year. I mean, it's a pretty sizable difference, I would say. But I think there's a lot of good coaches out there. You bring them up. I mean, Munkin has done it. Even Army. I mean, this last year they were competitive. My dad has a soft spot in his heart for Army because he was once in the Army. But that to see that. See what he does there continuously is pretty darn cool as well. It just kind of reminds you there are a lot of coaches that they can punch above their weight, I guess, even at the group of 5 level. And I think it's cool that a lot of them that you've kind of listed so far, there's a certain level of loyalty. I mean, even to get away from Coastal Carolina, it took a few winning seasons, and I know he's making that jump now to yeah, man, you talk about resources. Liberty's got resources. So, yeah, but at the very least, Spencer's absolutely in the mix, and I still think just because sports are about winning and what have you done for me lately, and I'll give the crown to Spencer right now just because he did take his team to the college football playoff.
Yes, you Bill saying I love SD more than anyone, but it's too early to anoint him. He needs to prove he can do this consistently over multiple years. And again, no Dirk or Ashton is going to be a test. Gaines gives me hope. Mason says, yeah, certainly there. Genty bailed us out of a lot of questionable situations last year. San Jose, Nevada, Wyoming, etc. Dan Mullen got screwed by Florida's athletics department. Still had some really good seasons, and San Diego SD is right there though. Yeah, I mean, like I said, is it a prove it year? Yeah, but like I said, I don't think anyone doesn't expect him to prove it. Like what like it's, and again, I know it's 1 year and 4 games, but we've seen nothing from him or just this program in general to not think they're going to back up last year with a 10-2 type season again.
And I think BJ, when you look at Boise State's schedule this year, I mean, there are the unknowns out there. There's going to be some team that was written off on Boise State's schedule that all of a sudden shows up and wins 8 or 9 games, and that game all of a sudden in November or whenever it pops up is going to be much more difficult. I get it. I mean, that was UNLV just a couple of years ago, right? Yeah. Nobody really expected a ton out of them, and then they became
going to Reno in late October, and what he's going to have them fired up. I don't think that's a game Boise State's going, oh yeah, what we feel great about that.
But I will say, like, I do think we can sit here on June 17th or whatever the heck the date is and say that you look at their schedule and it should be pretty manageable. I mean, South Florida is a huge game, not only because it's a season opener, but cross country travel, all of that, good program. But I mean, that's I would say that's one of the more challenging circumstances that they'll probably face this season. So if they can find a way to come together game one, not have to rely on Ashton Genty rushing for 267 yards or whatever it was that he picked up at Georgia Southern last year, if they can come together and win a game like that, then all of a sudden they come home, they play Eastern Washington, and then you feel like they should be rolling going into Notre Dame, which by all things considered, I'm going to guess that is the only game at the moment that Boise State will be an underdog in on their schedule.
That's probably true. And I know Circa came out with some of the over-unders, and I don't remember where Boise State's at, but I'm guessing they're somewhere in the 9.5 probably. I mean, but I think 10-2 is certainly doable for this team. I mean, at Air Force early in the season, you probably don't, you never feel great. Like I said, that's always a sticky game going to Air Force early in the season. Maybe the late road trips, like I said, any Mountain West road game, you don't like just write off as an easy win. But I mean, you have at San Diego State. I think they're going to be a little better this year. I think at Utah State, you never know. They're late. Black Friday, just you never know. But that should be But you're right. You don't look at that schedule and you don't right away see 2, 3, 4 games where it's like, oh, that's going to be a tough one to win. Like the Notre. I mean, you could very easily predict Boise State to go 11-1 and lose to Notre Dame, and you're not like going out on some crazy limb. I mean, you said, they're probably going to be favored. And I know that's not how the aggregate works. I mean, there is some other game that they might trip up on, but 10-2, 11-1 certainly seems doable with this game. I do agree with you on the South Florida game being a little tougher. BSU Bill says if you beat USF, you should be 4-0 going into Notre Dame. Back to Dan Mullen. We got San Diego State Aztec Mike watching the show. He says Dan Mullen has not coached in 5 years, and the game has changed a lot.
Also true.
A lot of people expecting him to come in there and just immediately get that thing rolling, but it's not quite that easy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a program working with some momentum due to Barry Odom. I'm actually really excited to see how that works out because I still don't know if Barry Odom got enough credit for what he did at UNLV. I think that him bringing Jackson Woodard there and Ricky White III there and keeping those guys there was huge for their culture. And now all 3 of those guys are gone. But I don't know. I'm really interested to see how this transition moves into the Dan Mullen era, just because I think that Barry Odom was a really good coach, man. I think he is a really good coach.
I think Dan Mullen may deserve that top spot because, as BSU Bill says, apparently he has already sold out the recruiting section.
There it is. Done. It's been decided.
one of those inside jokes for a while with UNLV in the recruiting section there. All right, so Spencer Danielson certainly in the mix. If he's not number one, he's two or three are right there on the cusp, though, Jay, and certainly he could cement that status probably with another CFP appearance this year, and hopefully that's an argument we can, whether it's group of 5, group of 6, whatever that, whether Pac-12, hopefully they give Pac-12 the Power 5 status again, whatever. But at least for now, it's group of 5, and that's the debate we're having. And Spencer Danielson, I mean, if we were going to expand this nationally, Jay, I don't think he's there yet, but I don't think it's too far-fetched to say he's a, top 25, top 30, coach in the country probably here before too long. I think the longevity part would hold him back a little bit from that part of it, just with 130 FBS teams and how accomplished they are. But I'm not sure I'd pick 25 coaches that I'd want coaching my football team over him at this point right now. But I would guess he's probably somewhere in the 40 to 50 range, maybe right now. I don't know. I'd have to look at this, but
let's look at it this way, BJ. If Spence does go out and Boise State wins this year, then how quickly does he start to join some of those conversations? Sure. He all of a sudden these I don't know, these debates become far less debatable, I would say. But he's got to go out and do it. He's got to go out and do it.
Aztec Mike reminding us, Shawn Lewis, second year at Kent State, won a championship there. I actually do think Shawn Lewis was a great hire at San Diego State. And I don't know if this is the year they make a big jump, but I do think he got kind of what's the word I can say? Gypped, I guess.
Everybody needs. A coach like him needs his quarterback. They need, and it hasn't been. It just hasn't been good for them at that position. And that recently.
That is just another question we'll get to later in the series, Mountain West, having the teams. But I do think San Diego State, under Lewis, with that stadium and everything, I do think in the next few years here, San Diego State's going to start to take a jump forward. And they're not, he's going to get. He was one of the highest up and coming coaches at Kent State, and could have been a head coach at some bigger spots, but went with Coach Prime to be the OC there at Colorado, and that obviously didn't work. And he got kind of, like I said, just kind of whatever you want to happen there. And he had a nice rebound spot to get to San Diego State, and I think he's going to get that program going.
Yep, and I'm certainly not trying to compare Dan Mullen to Brady Hoke, but I think you look at San Diego State, and it just success can be hard to replicate. It just can. And you go back and you look at what the Aztecs did under Rocky Long, and man, Rocky deserves a lot of credit. He had that program in an awesome competitive spot year after year after year. And so that's probably the most impressive thing about Boise State is usually they've been able to pass the baton, if you will. Obviously, the Andy Avalos era didn't end great, but it's not just easy for somebody to step in and do it. And we saw the Aztec struggle with Brady Hoke, and now they hope to get it back with Shawn Lewis. But even as that applies to somebody like a Dan Mullen, I just don't think it can be assumed. Do I think he'll do good? Yeah, but I just don't think it can be assumed.
All right, well, the debate will rage on here throughout the season, and we'll see. Two of the best could be conference mates pretty soon here. We'll find out in terms of Kinney down there at Texas State, and also obviously what Danielson has going on at Boise State as well. All right, in the final few minutes, Jay, the strengths of the offense. What is Boise State's offense? We've talked about where they need to take the big step forward last week, in terms of improving some things. What are they best at right now? What do we expect the offense to really look like here in 2025? We'll take a couple minutes to discuss that with Jay, and then we'll dive into that really more tomorrow as well. But do want to thank Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. You meet everybody in that picture there when you buy a home from Matt, because the customer service is unmatched. Number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley for a reason. We bought and sold our home using Matt and his team. Kelly Ridley, the whole crew did a tremendous job. So highly recommend Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Hey, Lithia Ford of Boise. They've now got Julian Bowie on board. Congratulations to him. He's rocking a Ford Explorer thanks to Lithia Ford of Boise and the Idaho Falls Lithia location as well. So buy a used vehicle, pre-owned pride with Lithia. The Raines family bought our used F-150 from Lithia. We are loving it. So highly recommend Lithia Ford of Boise. Jim Sturk and company are taking care of Boise State athletes, coaches, and they can take care of you at Lithia Ford of Boise. Hey, Ridley's Family Markets, shop ridleys.com. Hey, shop Ridley's.com. Ridley's Family Markets. You can download that Skip app. Good savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. And they got several locations around the Treasure Valley, Magic Valley, the state of Idaho, and beyond. To get more information at shopridleys.com. You're looking for a new job? Transportation Compliance Service can help you get into the trucking industry. It's a booming industry right now. Just, sign up, transcomservice.com, all the paperwork, DOT, overweight, everything you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. They can help you do it. Folks that try to do all this themselves, over 75% of them end up going out of business. So if you want to get into the trucking industry, let the professionals help you. This is a local company helping out folks all over the world. Transportation Compliance Service, transcomservice.com. And if you like something you heard on the show today, didn't like it, if you got a question, a concern, whatever, even if it's something private you don't want on the air, send it to us, speakpipe.com/BNN. You can leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox line. We'll play it on an upcoming broadcast, speakpipe.com/BNN. But like I said, if you don't want it to be aired, just put that at the beginning of it. This is not for public air, and let me know what's on your mind, and we'll be happy to get back to you. But speakpipe.com/BNN. You can do it right there from your phone, from your computer. It's very easy, and it's brought to you by Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades. Whether it's a re-roof, or repair, an estimate, and inspection, all your roofing needs, they got you covered at Signature Roofing, mysignatureroofing.com. All right, Jay, the Boise State offense. You think about the offense, you think about, the strengths and the new offensive coordinator coming in. At first, glance thought, before even looking at the stats or whatever, when I say, what is the biggest strength of the Boise State offense going into 2025? What are you saying?
That I think they're going to run the football again, man. I think that it's going to look different, obviously, because they're not just going to give the rock to one guy almost 400 times. But I think they're going to be able to run the football behind that offensive line with that stable of running backs. BJ, I really believe that's going to be the identity of this team once again, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the offensive line is obviously, when you combine the offensive line and the running game, I mean, there is no doubt. And you can also throw in what's a nice way to say it? The questions at wide receiver, I think, are a fair way to say it. I mean, I don't think Maddox Madsen has any questions at this point. I think he has proven himself, but he's got to have capable guys to throw the ball to. And I know that is a fair, legitimate concern that some fans have is the wide receiver room and the depth of the wide receiver room. So yeah, you combine maybe a few question marks or concern there with a strong offensive line and four at least strong running backs. Yeah, I know Spencer Danielson says they want to go 50-50 and run pass. He said that at the spring game. I just can't see that being the case, Jay. I see right now this team leaning on the run game once again, maybe just not leaning on one guy running the football like they did last year.
Yeah, and plus, BJ, I mean, Spencer invests so much into talking about how that leaves the identity of their football team, being on the attack, being physical, things like that. And so I just don't see them going away from that. And I think that Nate Potter, former offensive lineman, tight ends coach, now the offensive coordinator, I feel like he's going to be a guy that just wants to run the football. And don't misconstrue their confidence or lack of confidence or whatever you might think that is, what that means for the passing game. I just think if your question today is what's the identity of this offense going to be? What do they do well? And I think that if you're a betting man, getting behind Cage Casey, Mason Randolph, Roger Carrion, whoever else they want to put out there, Tyler Kyneth, Hall Schmidt. I mean, that offensive line group is deep once again. They're talented, they're physical, they're experienced, they're healthy, and that plays into it almost as much as the running back room plays into this. But I really do believe that's something that they're gonna lean on. And if you can run the ball effectively, as we saw last year, that can just lead to a lot of success in other areas.
BSU Bill says, though, to be able to do that, the ceiling will be driven by the downfield passing game. Need to keep the secondary honest, not be able to stack the box. We obviously saw that with Genty last year and how many teams would stack the box. That'll obviously be, I mean, Spencer Danielson did, I forget when he said it, one of the spring things, but he's like, yeah, South Florida, their defense, they're probably going to be treating it a little differently than when, than Ashton Genty comes out. But I mean, your hope, I guess, if you're Boise State is pretty quickly you're leaving them no choice but to continue stacking the box.
Yep. No, I think that's it. And I don't think that it's unfair to compare or expect anybody to be Ashton Genty this year, but I think Sire Gaines is going to have a great season. I think that his mentality as much as his physical talents will contribute to the success of this team. And those are characteristics that I think you could that are going to mirror Ashton Genty. I mean, Ashton Genty, how many times were we here last year? He's a better person than he is a football player. And honestly, as good as Ashton is, he was a top 2 football player in America. So it would be hard to be better in anything than that. But I just think you heard so much about his character and what he meant to that team. And I think that even at an early age, Sire Gaines is going to be ready to embrace that type of role.
So the 240.4 average yards per game, and I'm probably jumping over here because I know that's a question later in the series, but kind of as we wrap this up, Jay, the 240.4 yards per game on the ground, 6.1 average. This is for the team. They had 35.68 yards gain. They lost 203, so that'd be 33.65, I believe. 33.65 was the total rushing yards for last year's team. How close does this year's team get to that rushing total?
Oh, I think you give me 200 as an average, I'd be pretty happy about that.
Okay.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that's a pretty big goal, man. That's a lot of rushing yards per game. But last year was insane. But I think if they get in the ballpark of that, and honestly, I expect this team to not try to do that, but I think that's the byproduct of what they try to do leads to that. I would expect them. I think they can be back in that range this year. Just my opinion, but that's what I think. And
we're going to get to it way later in the series. But one of my biggest questions about I have no doubt they're going to run the football, but who is running that football is my question mark. Like, is Sire Gaines getting 70% of the carries, or is this a 50, 15, 15, 15? Like, what is the breakdown of carries here, and how does it get distributed? Because, even a guy like Dylan Riley, I think, could do some things with the ball in his hands. And a lot of, for your fourth running back, a lot of Mountain West teams would take him as a number 2 or even a number 1 at this point, probably, with what he's done. So I'll be very curious. I think we all expect Sire Gaines, if he's healthy, to get the majority, but what does that look like behind him? And is that majority is not going to be the numbers that Ashton Genty got last year, but how much lower is that? What does that look like? Do they spread it out more evenly to try to keep all these guys healthy and fresh? I'm just very curious, but I do agree. The strength is the offensive line. The strength is the running game. And I think you're going to continue to see them pound the rock this year under new offensive coordinator Nate Potter. Jay, appreciate you for jumping on. Enjoy the rest of the family time this week. We'll do it again hopefully on Friday. And then next week, you'll officially be in the building at Boise State. So we'll have to see if we can if they're going to schedule any weekly Tuesday 9 a.m. meetings or how we can make this work. We'll have to get with your boss and figure this out. But hopefully can continue to keep it rolling. We'll at least have you on Friday and then see what happens. But appreciate it. Hope you have a good next couple days. And as always, appreciate you for coming on. And congratulations again, man.
Thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
There he is, Jay Tust, sports director at KTVB. Appreciate him for popping on, even when he's trying to get some final few days with the family here as he gets set for his new adventure, new journey with Boise State Athletics. And I know a lot of folks are excited for what he's going to do there with the Bronco Studios and all the great stuff that they have going on there. So appreciate you guys for jumping on. Go read Nathan Carroll's work, BroncoNationNews.com. Nathan Carroll has the question on Spencer Danielson and the group of 5 coaches up there right now. We'll have the strengths of the offense and defense up there shortly after the show ends. I'm going to post it right now. And you can check out all of his series at BroncoNationNews.com. And don't forget, join us for the Circa contest. I know this sounds crazy, but we had about 10 people come down last August. I hope you guys will join us. $21 million in guaranteed prizes in the Circa football contest. It's $1,000 to enter, but if you get a couple buddies together, it's $250. If you get 4 of you, $333. If you get 3 of you, and there's 21 million. The Survivor contest is 15 million. The Millions, where you pick 5 against the spread, is 6 million. And I can tell you, it makes watching NFL football on Sunday so much more exciting, so much more fun. You have to sign up in Las Vegas, but you can play anywhere. You can use Tom Carroll, our proxy, to help make the picks for you. It's 100% legal. And I know a lot of folks have said, oh, next year's going to be the year I sign up. Next year's going to be the year. Well, now that time is now. So you've got about 2 months to plan your trip down to Vegas. Join us for contest weekend, August 21st to 23rd. There's happy hour events. There's pool parties. There's all kinds of stuff. We'll be doing our shows down there August 21st to 23rd. It is week 0. So come on down there and watch some of the week 0 games down there at Stadium Swim at the pool. If you ever want to get a getaway weekend to Vegas, this is it. Week 0, right before college football season starts. Join us in Las Vegas for the football contest weekend. And again, get some buddies, sign up for the contest, and $21 million in guaranteed prize. I mean, everyone's played Survivor, right? You pick one team, they win the game, doesn't matter the point spread. You move on to the next week, you got to pick a different team. The winner gets $15 million in their Survivor contest. So pretty awesome, and I hope you guys will join us and sign up for the contest. We'd love to have you join us in Las Vegas. As I said, Circa Resort and Casino will also be there Media Days week. If you want to come down in July, that's always a fun week too, to bump into some of the coaches and stuff down there. I mean, you see at the SEC Media Days, there's all kinds of autograph seekers and fans down there. Like, that's a cool time to come too. Come down in July for Mountain West Media Days. Hang out and try to get an autograph or a picture, or get 5 minutes to chat with Spencer Danielson, or maybe see him at the blackjack table or some of the Boise State players. Like, that's a fun time to come down too, and we can sign you up for the contest while you're down there for that. So Circa Resort and Casino, Circa Sports, we appreciate Derek Stevens and their partnership with BNN. So if you want to sign up for the football contest, reach out to me. I can get you more information about the contest weekend, try to get you a discounted hotel rate, and it'd be a fun weekend. We took everybody out to dinner last year that came down and had a fun time. So I know Brad Bedell, Kent Riddle are looking to come down there and sign up again. They played last year. So reach out. Would love to see you guys down there. And it's going to be Circa Resort and Casino, whether it's Media Days in July or contest weekend in August. Appreciate you guys. Go check out BroncoNationNews.com. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Unless something breaks with realignment, we can pop on for a breaking news show or something like that. But otherwise, 9 a.m. tomorrow, we'll do this again and keep our countdown going. Our Countdown to Camp series. We are barely a month away from the start of fall camp for the Boise State football team. And we're getting you set every day at 9 a.m. Mountain Time here on Bronco Nation News Live every weekday leading up to fall camp. And so we're excited for that, and excited and thankful for all of you. So go support the sponsors, folks. They keep this show free of charge on YouTube. It starts with our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. All of our great sponsors, our major sponsors you see behind us on the wall here. And so support the sponsors. Reach out, tell Travis Hawks, tell Stan, Nicolason, tell everybody that you're supporting them. You appreciate them because of their work with BroncoNationNews.com, and it does go a long way when it comes time for renewals and things for them to want to see a return on their investment. So tell these companies you're supporting BNN, and you want to thank them for supporting BNN, and see what kind of deal they'll give you. A lot of times they'll give you some sort of discount, and for saying you heard about it on the show. And so appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you at 9 a.m. tomorrow, Bronco Nation News Live on a Taco Bell Tuesday, presented by our title sponsor, rowpaint.com at BroncoNationNews.com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.